Florida Panthers have a 2-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Final, defeating the Edmonton Oilers 4-1 in Game 2 tonight out of Sunrise. We have lots to discuss. To you by our good friends over at GCL Deal. Tom Gazzola live on location, Hudson's White Ave, which is a disappointed location, and I feel like a lot of house parties, the watch party at Rogers Place, Hudson's Bourbon Street, and many, many other bars and restaurants around the city and in northern Alberta are doing the same thing. People upset and paying their tab and getting out of here because it's Monday, and a disappointing one at that. Tom Gazzola, YouTube, Trev, Matty Cassian will be joining us shortly as we break down the Oilers' loss to the Florida Panthers in game number 2. Get into the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. And then, of course, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it so much. And you can discuss in the nasty chat. Of course, we had to put people in timeout already. No surprise, really. The trolls will come out to play for sure. All right. Before we get into this bad boy and deep dive, because we're going to lots to talk about tonight about this game, GCL Diesel, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialists and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. Big thank you to GCL for stepping up and being critical providers to Edmonton Sports Talk and the Oil Stream post-game show and pre-game show. We begin, as is tradition, with the scoring summary and game stats from tonight's matchup. In the first period, Edmonton gets on the board at 11-17. Matthias Ekholm with the partial break. He fires one through the wickets of Sergei Bobrovsky. That's good, right? Get one by Bobrovsky. Show everybody that he's not invincible. And the Oilers have the lead. McDavid and Bouchard, the helpers, on Ekholm's fifth. 1-0 Oil after one in the second period. Nico Mikkola, he fires home his second of the postseason from Anton Lundell, and Vladimir Tarasenko on the entry into the zone beats Stuart Skinner glove side just inside the post at 9:34. The Oilers on their back foot pretty much all through the first and for large parts of the second. Shots after one, I should mention, 9-4 in favor of the Panthers. You're thinking, all right, that's not too bad. In the second, 22-7 after a couple of posts as well that the Oilers had on a power play in that second period, but still heavily outshot, kind of flipping the script from game one. And then in the third, this is where the floodgates open. It would be Evan Rodriguez on a nice feed from Evan Bouchard to make it 2-1 Florida at 3:11. Absolutely horrific giveaway by Bouchard. There was a play on the opposite side wall. Evander Kane couldn't get the puck out, and then Rodriguez fires a BB past one Stuart Skinner to make it 2-1 Florida at that point at 3:11. Rodriguez would make it 3-1 on the power play, streaking in on a nice feed from Anton Lundell. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, the second assist at 12:26 on the redirection. Nice play, and Stu Skinner beat low to the glove on that one as well. Then into the empty net, Aaron Ekblad, his first of the playoffs from Sam Bennett. 4-1 at that point. 17:32 time of the goal as Ekblad puts that one on ice. Edmonton, no answer after its first goal, 4 unanswered for the Panthers. Like I said, shots on goal, 9-4 in favor of Florida after one. 13-3 were the shots in the second, and then Edmonton does outshoot Florida 12-6 in the third with a little bit of urgency. But, man, Edmonton was on its back foot for the majority of this game, and then too little too late in the final frame. Final shots, 28-19 in favor of the Panthers. Face-offs, 54.4% to 45.6% in favor of the Panthers. This has become a recurring theme for the Oilers. It happened in the third round. It is happening again in the Stanley Cup Final. They need to be better there. Power play 0 for 4 tonight. We're going to talk about that for sure. Continues to have its struggles against a pretty good Panthers PK, but still opportunities, lanes to shoot. Too cute again, trying to pass the puck into the net. The PK goes 5 for 6. The PK has been brilliant, excellent borderline impeccable in this postseason. It does get solved in this game. Rodriguez cracking the PK tonight. Hits 37-32, so much more even compared to game number 1. Block shots 19 apiece. Giveaway 17 for Edmonton, 16 for Florida. Takeaways 14 for the Panthers, 4 for the Oilers. That is not good either. Again, that's a subjective stat when it comes to the off-ice officials. Some people probably saw it a little bit differently, but Edmonton on its back foot, like I said, for a good chunk of this game. Thank you to Jesse via Twitter, giving me wishing me good luck on the post-game show. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. Get those texts in, 780-218-9999, and then, of course, get in on the nasty chat. All right, I'll just give my thoughts on this. I kind of sprinkled some of them in. Edmonton looked good, really good in game 1. They carried a lot of the play. They dictated the play. I know people were saying, well, Florida was going to be better in game 2. All right, you expect them to be better. But Edmonton, I thought, sat back a lot. I know that they got the lead, but they still sat back. That was a recipe for disaster. You knew, you kind of felt it coming. Florida was getting chances. Skinner was making some big saves. A couple of unlucky bounces for the Panthers. I know the Oilers did get a couple of posts in the second period, but you could just feel the tide shifting towards the Panthers. They were caving in the Oilers at times in that second period. And then sure enough, in the third, the big mistake actually in the second period and third period, there was big mistakes from the Oilers in their own zone. And then Bouchard with the horrible giveaway and the nice Rodriguez shot beat Skinner high blocker. And then from there, you could tell that the Oilers were just trying to stay around, trying to hang in there. And the Panthers could smell blood and fully took advantage. All right, let's get YouTube Trev in here. Trev, just some thoughts really quickly from you in regard to what we saw in game number 2.
Yeah, I was just finished tweeting there, Tommy. First off, I will say there's a lot of people commenting in the nasty chat. I have no problem putting on my big boy pants and kicking you guys out. So just be nice. Don't be silly. As far as the game goes, man, like, it's tough. Like, Florida, they played good. Sergei's really, really good. They're the best team. They're the 2 best teams, right? And that's kind of what we saw tonight, man. Like, they're a really, really good team. So props to them. But, I mean, as far as the Oilers go, like, they're just too passive right now. And they're just a lot of hope passes is kind of what I'm getting at and just what I've been seeing. So, yeah, it's not good enough. Yeah, it's tough. Like, they haven't beat the Panthers in the regular season. They have yet to beat them in the playoffs.
Nope.
They're down 2, man. Like, that's a tough ask. You're coming home. It's a must-win game going forward. As far as the lineups, obviously Nurse being out, that kind of sucks. And then with Fogle doing what he did, which you guys will get into soon enough here. It's just a lot of things I didn't really like, and then. I mean, Ryan McLeod, like, he was invisible, Tommy. He was invisible. I thought his game was quite poor tonight. So, yeah, it's back to the drawing board. There's a lot that they have to do. Just a tough loss, Tommy.
Good on the Panthers for pushing the Oilers, but the Oilers with the response I didn't like, and we're going to get to Cass when he hops on here, get his thoughts on this one. And the urgency, too little, too late from Edmonton. That giveaway really set the tone in the third period. That Rodriguez ends up converting on. I don't know what Evan Bouchard was thinking. And again, Evander Kane has had his fair share of struggles in this Stanley Cup Final so far. Didn't get the puck out on the other side of the wall. Comes over to the close side on the broadcast side. And Bouchard to Rodriguez in the back of the net. And then that was kind of where it started to unravel for Edmonton. Power play, again, 0 on this night. Can't solve the Panthers so far in this series, and way too cute at times and discombobulated, however you want to describe it. Too much is what the Oilers are trying to do when they are on the power play. Goes 0 for 4 tonight. PK killed off that 5-minute. They did draw a penalty during the 5-minute Fogle major. I said while I was watching that was going to be a huge momentum swing if Edmonton could take advantage. It ended up being a decent momentum swing, but not enough, and certainly not enough to get them on the to pick up another goal. So They did get the 4-on-4 marker, though, during that 5-minute major, but they couldn't add to the lead. And then Mikkola with the equalizer, and then the floodgates in the third period. All right, I think Matty Cassian is ready to go. 780-218-9999. I have a lot of text to get to. I have a lot of nasty chats that I'm seeing. We'll get to as many as possible. Let's get Matt Cassian, our game analyst, on here to help break down the Oilers' 4-1 loss in Game 2 to the Panthers, coming back home for Thursday night's Game 3, 6 p.m. face-off, down 2-0. It's not the end of the world, Cass. I know a lot of Oiler fans feel like this series is over. I've already seen the texts and the posts and the tweets and all of this and all of that, but was it the Florida Panthers just playing better, and how much of it was Edmonton playing worse than they did in Game number 1?
Yes.
Yes to all of that, yeah.
Yes, it was both. The Florida Panthers played much better. They executed their game plan, played how they wanted to play, were able to generate off the rush, challenge the Edmonton Oilers defensemen, and Edmonton played pretty poorly, very poorly. A couple big mistakes, as you've already astutely pointed out, that ended up costing them. We talked about that before the game, Tom. So it's both. It really is both. Florida played much better, which we expected, and Edmonton played much worse, which we didn't expect, but that's what we got tonight. Tentative,
waiting for Florida. Like, why in Game 1 did we see Edmonton come out and really take it to the Panthers? And listen, I know Florida and people around the Panthers said, hey, that wasn't a very good game from Florida. But Edmonton really didn't seem to have confidence in its game. Like, there were times where you're like, are they even trying to generate offense? Yeah. And are they just waiting for the Panthers to bring it back the other way? And I call it back foot. That's what I would describe it as. I was texting Belzy. I'm like, how much of it is the Panthers? How much of it is the Oilers? Belzy just straight up said urgency wasn't there for Edmonton. Did you see that too, Cass?
Yeah, no, there was none until they were down 2 goals. When they were down 2 goals, all of a sudden the urgency went through I don't want to say went through the roof, but it increased to where we would have liked to have seen it from the drop of the puck. They weren't urgent tonight. They didn't have it. They didn't have juice tonight, Tom. No. I thought maybe after they got that first goal, it was a little slow start. They get the first goal on the first shot. I thought maybe that would spark some life and give them a little bit of jump, and it didn't. They just kind of stayed flat until they were down 2 goals.
Okay, they lose Foegele. Right, they get the 4-on-4 goal during the 5-minute major. They get the kill after. I think there's still like a minute something after the 4-on-4 had expired. They kill that off. They didn't really get any momentum, although they still had the lead, which is nice. But it just felt like they were defending. They're defending, trying to bend and not break, and then it finally cost them on a zone entry in the second period on that shot that beats Stuart Skinner. Where are you pointing the blame when it comes to goals like that? Is that on Skinner for letting a long bomb in? Is that on guys being too easy, not standing up? The Panthers at the blue line? Like, where do we begin with this one on the first goal?
That's one where I kind of go, the Panthers did a great job on that entry. They did a really great job on the entry, beat the Edmonton Oilers back checkers up the ice to have that fourth man in. And if you watch it, that puck's sitting up on end. Like, that's a straight up Mighty Ducks knuckle puck. Hard to know where it's going to go. You can't really read the blade of the stick. It doesn't come off the stick like normal. Tough save to make on that. If anything, you got to take a look at the Edmonton, and I can't remember who the forward was that was late coming back, but you have to look at your 2 wingers that are coming back into the zone that didn't backtrack fast enough, that weren't in position, that weren't there to help with the fourth man, because it really was like a sort of a 3-on-3 situation, and it's the late guy in that ends up blasting it, and that's the puck that goes in. That being said, again, I thought Florida did a really nice job of executing, kind of going from being very clumped up at the Oilers' blue line on one side to spreading the ice out, to attacking cross ice. So that one, to me, I go, yeah, that was a good job by the Florida Panthers on that one. It wasn't like anyone in Edmonton made a massive mistake. Now, on the other 2 goals they did, but on the
huge mistake,
no, on that first one, I kind of go, kudos to the Florida Panthers, great zone entry, or great to salvage the play out of what looked like it wasn't going to be much on the zone entry. They end up with a nice play with the fourth man jumping up and getting into the play, and Edmonton's wingers nowhere to be found to help.
All right, text us 780-218-9999 and then get into the nasty chat. We're going to get into those right away. Cass, that third period is where it all unraveled, and it was a horrible giveaway by Evan Bouchard. He did not have a particularly good game. He was not he was assertive with the puck in the offensive zone at times. He had a couple of looks with some bombs at times, but in the D zone, it was a bit of a tire fire. How much did they miss Darnell Nurse with his injury and him barely playing? Like, how much of it factors in? How would you describe A, Bouchard's game, B, the team as a whole defensively?
Yeah, well, Bouchard struggled today. Two plays, the turnover, which was clear, and then on the third goal against, gets really beat wide, forces the defenseman over. Janmark can't recover to the front of the net in time. Now, that being said, I think Janmark stopped his feet from moving. Like, he recognizes the danger, takes a couple steps, but then he plants his feet and then is like, oh, wait, I still have to get there a little bit more. So you'll get Janmark slightly on that one, but it does start with Evan Bouchard not sealing the wall on that play. You can't get beat wide, get walked, and create a situation where your defensive partner has to slide over, which is what happened.
He tried the hip push, Cass.
Pardon?
He tried that hip push, and you've talked about it at times. Yeah. I think back to the Philadelphia game early in the season when the team was in the dumps, and you're like, yeah, the little hip thing, and you get spun around and nothing. That felt like the same type of goal. Yeah,
caught on the wrong side. Like, and your objective as a defenseman there really should be just stay on the right side of the puck. Like, if you trap the puck there, it turns into battle, fine. Like, you don't have to cause a turnover immediately there, even if you don't get possession. If the puck stays there and stays in the wall, generally you're in good shape. And as long as you stay between your guy and the net in that instant, you're in good shape. Like, you're going to have help. You're going to be okay. And he has done that before. I don't want to criticize Bouchard as a whole from a playoff standpoint, because he's been absolutely fantastic throughout the playoffs.
Point. Yes,
but he did struggle tonight.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit of added pressure, more minutes having to play with Darnell Nurse being out, and not playing since the first period, and maybe just struggling a little bit with the moment tonight. Maybe I don't know. That being said, he didn't have much help either.
No.
I think at some point or one point in the third period, it was when the Oilers had 12 shots, which is nuts. 8 of them were from defensemen and only 4 shots from your forwards, which is completely unacceptable. So it's not even that Edmonton was horrible defensively. It was that Edmonton was horrible offensively, couldn't generate anything. Or on the flip side, Florida was very good defensively, and that just kind of led to not scoring goals, not getting opportunities, and a couple mistakes, and you're down and you lose. But yeah, Bouchard really struggled tonight. And, for as much as Darnell Nurse, last game wasn't very good, they probably could have used him tonight. And, what can you do? Yeah, probably a hip pointer, I would assume, based on how it looked, which means you can't really push with that leg. A little bit of a stinger in there. So we'll have to see what his status is moving forward. But yeah, it didn't help Edmonton being down. And what also didn't help Edmonton was a couple of times defensemen taking penalties and forcing you down to 4 for the kill, which really, really wears on guys. Because, you're playing a lot in that instance. You don't have a full 6. You're at 4 for a couple of minutes. It's tough.
Bouchard with the 4 penalty minutes on the night. Here's his stat line: 1 assist, -1, 4 PIMs. Like I was talking about, 2 shots, 1 hit, 30-40 time on ice for Evan Bouchard. Here's the rest of the defensemen breakdown ice-wise. You had Matthias Ekholm at 24-54. You had Brett Kulak play 18-10. Philip Broberg, I thought was all right tonight, 17-12. Then comes Vinny Desharnais at 15-59, his first taste of Stanley Cup Final action. And then Darnell Nurse, just 420, was banged up. He went back and forth between the locker room and the bench, slammed his stick. TD4, you could see TD following Darnell, talking to Jeff Lang, trying to get Darnell Nurse back up to snuff. You saw Nurse go out there, take a twirl during the TV timeout, ends up playing 4 minutes and 20 seconds, donuts across the board when it comes to his stat line. And so I'm assuming if Nurse is that banged up, we're probably seeing Cody Ceci in. Then whoever, whether it was Kulak at times playing on the right side, Broberg at times playing on the right side, we've seen throughout this postseason. And in the last handful of games, one of those guys goes back to his natural side. Ceci probably comes back in. And then if Nurse can't go, I know he's a tough guy, But if he's playing 420 on a night like this, that's pretty indicative of something.
Yeah.
Then we'll see how patchwork defense holds up in game number 3. We'll wait on word from Chris Noblock when he speaks to the media. Cass, anything in terms of Stu Skinner? I know I've seen some texts saying Skinner this, Skinner that. I'll get to a bunch of texts right away here, but Skinner, anything? And then I have one more before we dip into the text line.
I mean, how can you blame that on Skinner? You
I'm not. I'm just saying because some people.
You scored 1 goal in 2 games. I mean, people maybe take issue with that first one, which again was a knuckle puck, like sitting flat on edge. Would you like him to save it? Sure. It's a tie game at that point. You can't fault him on the other 2. Can't see anything on the one double screen on a horrible turnover by Broberg. So no, don't give me that Stuart Skinner this, Stuart Skinner that. Stuart Skinner was fine. Bobrovsky let in the worst goal of the night. Really. Yeah,
it hit him. It didn't even go. It hit him in the pants. Not even through the pads. It hit him in the pants. I'm seeing a lot of McLeod discussion. We will get to that right away. And then I think, where did I see it? Here I had it. I want to get into it. I saw it out of the nasty chat. Charles says Nurse has been awful. And someone pointed out that Skinner has not been the problem. That was also Charles saying that. All right, keep it going in the nasty chat. I'm going to get to some text right away. But before we do, last thing, power play cast. We talked about it in the pregame show. 0 for 4 again tonight. Couple of times where it's like, oh, look at that lane that they just created for themselves. And then nothing. What's going on there from what you have seen so far?
No pucks to the net.
Yeah.
No pucks to the net. And some execution as well. I mean, we talked before the game about dealing with the pressure that Florida tries to bring and having to move the puck 1, 2, 3 times quickly in order to create space. Anytime they did that, they didn't take the puck to the net, typically. And they did struggle to execute that first pass. I mean, there was a lot of bobbled passes where it wasn't, or passes where, even if they weren't bobbled, they weren't put into an area to allow the next player to make a clean play. It's like where, you kind of handcuffing the guy a little bit. So yeah, they didn't execute well, didn't get pucks to the net on the power play.
All right, 780-218-9999, and then get into the nasty chat. I saw Dusty in the nasty chat said McDavid was great post-game. We will have that for you when YouTube Trev is able to clip it. We will go to it. But right now, it's time to dive into the text line. Let's go to Conroe, Texas to kick us off. Conroe, Texas says, Skinner 100% not good enough. Sadly, though, the offense is even worse as they pass up multiple chances to shoot the puck, including the power play. I'll add in there. Things change or it's cats in 4. Dirty Curdy says power play 0 for 6, 1 goal in 6 periods, and a sub-900 save percentage, and injuries piling up. Suspect officiating Leon, a huge disappointment all night. That's a good point. Bouchard's brain fart, likely a direct result of being overplayed. Why didn't Kulak get more minutes? The Oilers aren't good enough in the tough areas, and all the toe drags and cue plays just exacerbate the situation. Credit to the Panthers. They want it and are earning it. Oilers must sweep at home. Dirty Curdy adds, Skinner not to blame, but needs to be better for them to take this deep. Byron getting in there. Byron says, going to call it a night. I hate to say it, but I think this series is over, boys. They just don't have the horses to get past this wall of checkers on this team. Have to shoot it from everywhere on the power play. I hope they can win one at home for the fans. Byron out of Winnipeg. Cass, are you writing them off? I know Byron's not the only one saying this. He's the first that I've gotten to in the inbox that has dropped that on us. What are you going to say to that?
Yeah, I'm not writing him off. You lose a game at home, I mean, you're in trouble now. But
you go down 0-3, you're screwed.
You're down 0-3, then you're toast. Right? Not necessarily, but most likely
you're toast.
You were toast.
Yeah.
But no, you're not. Just the classic cliche. It's not a series till someone loses a game at home.
Sure.
So we saw Dallas this year against Vegas lose the first 2 games and then go out and win a series. It's possible to do. You just have to come out and play a lot better at home. So, no, don't write them off yet. That wasn't a very good game from Edmonton. We didn't see their best. It was a good game from Florida. Ekblad had a heck of a game. If we're talking about players on Florida, twists his ankle,
Yep.
leaves, comes back, and just an absolute stud out there the rest of the night, battles through it. But Tom, this series isn't over. It's not over till you lose 4 games. And are they in trouble? Yeah, of course they are. You're down 2 games, but you win the 2 at home, and all of a sudden you make it a series. So it's not over yet. No reason to panic. A reason to be concerned? Absolutely. Reason to panic? No, not yet.
780-218-9999. Tom Gazzola, Matt Cassian with you. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show live on location at Hudson's White Avenue. It was packed in here. A few stragglers kind of licking their wounds after an Oilers loss in Game 2. 4-1 is the final. We're breaking it down. YouTube Trev holding things down back at ESTHQ. Nasty Chat, do your thing. Let's go to Shaggy in St. Albert all along going into the playoffs. Round 1, round 2, round 3, now round 4. Shaggy in St. Albert says, put up or shut up. Well, let's hear what Shaggy in St. Albert has to say. He is not happy. He says, series over. Pathetic effort by Oilers tonight in a close to must-win game. 17 shots in the game. Ends up being 19 unless they change that, Shaggy. Still 19 here on the NHL website. McDavid and Draisaitl are missing in action this series. No blame on Skinner for this failure. 1 goal in 2 games is a joke. You can say next 2 are at home, but I see Panthers winning at least one of those 2. Hopefully Oilers have at least some pride to not get swept. At least McDavid and Draisaitl have removed themselves from greatest players to never win a Campbell Bowl list. Shaggy and St. Albert bringing the heat. Cass, you want to touch on anything there?
The panic is real, Tom.
Yes.
The panic is real. People are panicking. People are panicking. No other comment on that one.
Draisaitl didn't have a good game.
No.
He didn't have a good game.
He had a couple good shifts, but overall game, no.
No. And I think he touches on that. We're going to hear from him as well. And we're going to get to a bunch of audio. And I see Chris Noblock is speaking at the podium right now. YouTube Trev working on that as we speak. All right, Shaggy in St. Albert is pissed off. All right, let's go to C-Max. Says, okay, Edmonton doesn't look like they want it as bad as Florida. I don't know who's hurt or what's going on, but their best guys are outplaying and outworking Edmonton's best guys. I am so frustrated with this team and the decisions they're making with the puck on their stick, losing battles all over the ice and turning it over. It's not over, but they need 2 wins on home ice. Man, they've come so far just to give up. Also from C-Mac, Skinner is fine. Let's go to Mike in Thunder Bay, who texts in and says, well, that sucked. Oilers sucked. Refs sucked. That will go down as probably my least favorite Oiler game of all time. At this point, I'm just hoping not to get swept. Please give me some positives. Mike in Thunder Bay. Cass, can you give Mike in Thunder Bay any positives from tonight?
Not from tonight. Maybe moving forward. I use a positive moving forward. The positives moving forward are you're coming home and you're playing at home and you have the opportunity to win a hockey game, to put yourself 1 game closer to it and to be down 2-1 instead of 2-0. That's the positive. The positive is the series isn't over yet. There's not many positives out of tonight. I mean, your power play wasn't good. Defensively, you made a couple big mistakes that cost you. Offensively, you couldn't really get anything going. There's a lot of negatives from tonight. Not a lot of positives to pull out. So I can't tell you any positives from this game tonight. Maybe the only positive is maybe Ekblad's ankle swells up huge, and it's a sprained ankle, and he can't walk tomorrow. Maybe that's it. But aside from that, I don't got much for you.
I have a question for you. This fleeting thought. I noticed that Darnell Nurse played the least amount of minutes in Game 1 out of all the defensemen. It was Cody Ceci who ended up being the healthy scratch tonight, and Vinny Desharnais going in. I thought Vinny Desharnais, all things considered, was okay. I'm not going to say he was brilliant or anything like that, but I thought he held his own in his first Stanley Cup Final game. If Nurse is banged up, does this open the door to keeping him out, letting him recover, and then you can get one left-handed guy back on his side, get CC back in there? May I even say it might be a blessing in disguise with the way Darnell Nurse has played overall this postseason, or no?
Yeah, tough to say because it depends on what it is and how bad it is. Just like you saw CC get pulled from the lineup today, it's probably Darnell Nurse that stays in if he's good to go. But it all depends on the severity of it. It really does, because Darnell Nurse playing at 70 or 75% right now, you're probably not necessarily going to want that with the quality of his play. So
No.
yeah, tough to say. That's a tough call. Does it open the door for Darnell Nurse to stay out of the lineup, even if he is close or close-ish to being ready to go? Maybe. But the reality is he's one of the guys that's in their leadership group. McDavid's going to want him playing. Draisaitl's going to want him playing.
Yeah.
If he's good enough to go, he's going to play. He's not the guy they're going to pull from the lineup. So I don't think it opens the door for that. Now, if he is banged up and it's like questionable, I don't know if you'll see him play. But again, we'll have to see what it is. If it's a hip pointer, could be okay in a couple of days. If it's something worse, maybe not. I'm wondering if we get a little bit of clarity on that. But knowing the NHL and knowing the Oilers and knowing how they announce injuries, we're probably not going to get told anything.
Yeah, that's a good hunch, Cass. Good hunch indeed. All right, back to the inbox we go. Lots of texts coming in. Keep them coming in. Bounce anything off of Cass or myself at 780-218-9999. SJ, not in the Kootenays, says, I legitimately need an explanation why Ryan McLeod plays anything other than penalty kill, and even then, beyond useless, says SJ, not in the Kootenays. He's a net negative, yet keeps rolling out while the quote-unquote big get at the trade deadline watches. Out-coached again from a frustrated SJ in the Kootenays. Ryan McLeod tonight, stat line, if you're wondering, played .903, -2, 2 hits. And out of all the forwards tonight, that would be, well, Fogle played a minute 54 before being kicked out. Carrick played 7:31. And then that he would be third least. Went 28.6% on the dot when he took faceoffs. Cass, Ryan McLeod, not giving you much this postseason. What would you say to, was it SJ not in the Kootenays there?
Yeah. Hey, there was a reason he was the guy that came out of the lineup. Depending on where everyone is at from a health standpoint, we'll have to see. I mean, it's another, I don't want to say invisible night from Ryan McLeod, but a night when you really needed Ryan McLeod to be better and to play consistent, to get some offensive zone time. And he was, do you want to say non-existent? Ends up -2, so more than non-existent. It wasn't a good night for him. So I can understand the frustration with this game, because he wasn't involved, wasn't around the net, didn't generate shots, wasn't physical, didn't transport the puck well, didn't win faceoffs, and was on the ice for a couple goals again. So, yeah, I mean, I get the frustration with that for sure.
Right. Now, McLeod through 19 games, he has a goal. And after that game tonight, where he goes dash, where I have it, I had a -2. He's now -7. He had 2 hits, 9:03 time on ice. His overall effectiveness has not been good. His body of work has not been good, has not even been adequate. And tonight, another reflection of that from Ryan McLeod. 1 goal, -7 now, and 6 penalty minutes with 19 games played this postseason. So I understand where SJ in the Kootenays is coming from. All right, let's go to Nash and Whitecourt. It says, I'm not putting this on Skinner or the D. Bouchard giveaway was egregious, but no goals from the forwards in 2 games, considering the weapons the Oilers have, which is unacceptable. Let's go to Pillman. It says, Tommy, I don't know what to feel. Did the Oilers play well enough to win? I almost wish Nurse was healthy enough to bench number 2 as an option. Tough loss. Bounce back, boys. Have a great night, gentlemen. That's from Pillman. The Oilers did not play good enough to win at all. At all, Cass. I can say that with conviction.
Nope, they did not. Not even close. Not even close. It was not anywhere close to where you needed to be. And as I mentioned earlier, when you're, whatever it was, halfway through the third period, you have 12 shots and only 4 of them are from your forwards, something's wrong. Like you haven't generated. You haven't found a way to get to the puck to the net. You haven't found a way to get bodies to the net. Like how many times tonight, Tommy, because I can think of like one towards the end of the game, was there a scramble in front of the net? Was there a loose change sitting around the net because the puck was there and bodies were there and Edmonton Oilers forwards were around the net? Like they weren't. They weren't. It was not a good enough game by the Edmonton Oilers forwards, and it was a very strong game from the Florida Panthers and their defensemen. They played much, much better. And I pointed out Ekblad already. He from a blocking shots, from a getting in lanes, from a tipping pucks, and did a great job. And some of the other Florida Panthers defensemen as well. Forsling had a fantastic game. Montour had a fantastic game. Like, those guys played incredibly well, didn't make mistakes, forced the Edmonton Oilers outside of the house in the middle of the ice. Sticks in lanes, as you mentioned, didn't allow anything through. And Tom, when there's sticks in the lanes and they're tipping pucks where you're trying to get backdoor shots, chances are you're probably not putting the puck to the net when you should, because it kept happening over and over again. Even from a shot attempt standpoint, it's not like there was a million blocks from the Florida Panthers. Edmonton just wasn't shooting. Looking for plays that were too pretty, trying to be too cute, as you mentioned earlier. And again, just overall, not anywhere close to being good enough for the Edmonton Oilers and their forwards.
Bilbo via the nasty chat. I peeked in there, and Bilbo says, is Leon Draisaitl going to get suspended for that shot on Sasha Barkov? At first, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Then you watch the replay. I give credit to Draisaitl for getting a shot on the chops of Barkov like that.
Yeah.
It was dirty. He does get a penalty. Yeah. They reviewed it. It was funny because the ref was literally 5 feet away from the hit, and then the other ref wasn't too far away and had a clear look at it as well. But I think he probably gets a fine.
He gets a fine. They're not going to suspend him. If they now, it's the NHL, so you never know. You never know. But if you can suspend Pietrangelo last year for the massive acts, one game, this is going to be a fine. Leon Draisaitl, it's not like he has a long history of suspensions and of headshots. Was it a penalty? Absolutely, it was a penalty. Was it dirty? Yeah, it was dirty. Yeah. That was a dirty hit. He should have got a penalty. He did get a penalty. Probably not a suspension. He's going to get a fine. And same with Fogle. Probably not a suspension. Probably going to get a fine.
Right. And then the pitchfork Carrick gave to, who was it? Who did he get there? That was
Kulikov.
Kulikov, that's right, late in the game. The discipline tonight from the Oilers. Do you think that started to get away from them? You just outlined 3 situations where it's like,
yeah.
I don't mind them going after the Panthers. And then I didn't mind McDavid's shot on
the Kulikov one. With Carrick, the game's over at that point. Yeah. Like, whatever. That wasn't that bad. I mean, it's dirty, but that's not that bad.
It was a dirty play.
It was dirty. It was a dirty play.
I mean, I laughed, but I at the same time cringed because I know that hurts. I've had that happen to me. I'm sure you've dealt with it a few times over your career.
You just got to hope it doesn't slip by the protection that's there. Or, maybe you don't know. Maybe Kulikov's one of those guys that's just crazy and doesn't wear anything off down there. So you never know.
Yeah. Don't do that, kids. That's not how you do it. Okay, you know what? Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. And Nasty Chat, we're going to keep tabs on that for sure. We do have some audio to get to. I will mention that portions of this hour are brought to you by Edmonton's Best Rock. 100.3, The Bear. Catch Dusty every morning with Uke and McCord. And then tune in to Jess Jackson on your way home from work. I have the good fortune of getting to provide updates with Jess on the Bear. So tune in to our dear friends over at 100.3 The Bear. All right, YouTube, Trev, where are we going first as the Oilers fall 4-1 in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final to the Florida Panthers?
Yeah, we've talked about him quite a bit tonight, but now it's time to hear from number 2 of the Edmonton Oilers, Evan Bouchard.
This level of game and at this time of the year, how tough was it? Just 5 guys?
Losing Darnell obviously wasn't ideal early. It was a big part of the back end. We got to find a way to step up for him.
What are you seeing on the power play? It's going pretty dry here for 2 games.
They're getting in the lanes. They're doing a good job.
What'd you see on their second goal?
Tried to get it out. The guy stopped it and put it in our net.
Obviously, it's not ideal to be down to 2 games here. What's the thought process there when you're Evan to study and try to keep it positive through a couple tough results?
They got home ice advantage. They did their job. We got to go home and do our job next 2 games.
And you guys have talked a lot this year about your ability to handle adversity. What do you think about the task of that?
Yeah, we're confident in what we have. We know if we play the way we want to play, we're going to be just fine. We didn't really do that tonight, but we're expecting it in Game 3.
It feels like it's a style of play that can get pretty frustrating for you guys. Is that creeping in a little bit, you think?
No, not sure. I think we're fine. We've had our backs against the wall before the season. I think we're ready for the challenge.
You guys scored on your first shot on Bobrovsky today. What do you think got away from you?
We didn't put enough pucks on net. I don't know what it was after 2 periods. We didn't have very many shots. Just got to look to get more pucks to him.
Okay, there's Evan Bouchard. Not a great night for him. Played a ton, relied upon. Oilers went down basically to 5 defensemen with Darnell Nurse getting nicked up, ending up only playing about 4 minutes. Bouchard, if you're wondering, I'll go over his stat line one more time. He did pick up an assist, -1, 4 penalty minutes, 2 shots, 1 hit, 30-40 time on ice. And he was a hot tamale, not a happy camper there. Cass, I don't know if you can really glean anything from what Evan Bouchard said in that press conference.
No, pretty short answers.
Got to play better. Went in the net. Yeah.
Went in the net. Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing you want to glean, Tom, is that they know they didn't shoot enough. They know they didn't play well enough. He knows it. The whole dressing room knows it. We all know it. Everybody knows it. So it's not like it's new and shocking information, but yeah, they know they weren't good enough. Evan Bouchard knows he was not good enough tonight.
All right, one more. Let's go to Zack Hyman, and then we'll get Cass's thoughts heading into game number 3. Here he is, Oilers forward Zack Hyman.
Unable to generate a lot of offense. I mean, we knew they were going to be better than they were in the first game. They obviously played a much better game. Having said that, we had an opportunity in the third to go win a game. They got that important next one, and then they won.
Zach, why are you, as a group of forwards, having so much trouble breaking through and generating?
Well, I mean, first game, their goalie played outstanding, obviously, so I thought we had our looks. I think you have to look at it as how many chances you get, right? I mean, sometimes you're going to hot goalie, and that was the case in the first game, so they stole that one. And then this game, they played better than we did, and we didn't have as many looks. We weren't playing with enough pace, I don't think. I think they were controlling the play for the majority of the game. But having said that, again, we had an opportunity to win.
Zach, your power play kept the puck and you just couldn't squeeze it in. I mean, was that the blocking shots? Was it trying to pass it too much?
I mean, we had some looks, probably less looks than we did the other night, but we got to find a way to score.
What's the level of concern going down 2-0?
I mean, it's not ideal, obviously, but we have 2 games at home. So you got to take care of business at home. They just did that at home. Now it's our job to go back to Edmonton and win 2. I mean, it starts with 1, though. So.
What has to be different in Game 3 for you guys?
I mean, just get back to our game. Play we did in Game 1, and we should be good.
They played this game on their terms for the vast majority of it. Why do you think could you turn it back your way at any point?
I thought there were stretches in the game where we had possession and we had opportunities, but like you said, they controlled the pace of the game more so than we did.
There you go. There's Zack Hyman. His night, if you're wondering how he played and what he had stat-wise, Hyman ends up a -1, no points, obviously, a shot, 4 hits, 22-16 time on ice. Not as curt as Evan Bouchard, but, I mean, yeah, it was a flipping of the script when it came to the overall play. I mean, the Oilers dictated the pace Game 1. They didn't get the result, though, and it was the Panthers dictating the pace tonight, and they get the result again. So Hyman, pretty straightforward. Anything else that really struck you from Zack Hyman tonight and what he had to say post-game?
Yeah, pretty straightforward again. As I said, you lost 2 games on the road. You got to go win both games at home. And it starts with 1. Got to win the first one at home. You start with that. All of a sudden, it's a 2-1 series. And you got to go win the next one. You even the series up, and you're right in it. So you're not out of it yet. He knows that. The team knows it. They also just know, again, with what he said, that they weren't good enough tonight. All
right. I was going to let Cass go after Hyman, and Dusty said that Conor McDavid was pretty good post-game. We have Conor McDavid available. Cass was nice enough to say, I'll stick around. I want to hear what the captain has to say after the team's 4-1 loss in Game 2 of the Cup Final to the Panthers. Here is Conor McDavid.
Yeah, they're a great team. They defend really well. They got a great goalie. Doing a lot of really good things. Obviously, they're playing in the Stanley Cup Final. they're making it tough, for sure.
It's a deep hole. How do you dig out of it?
Oh, you win a game. You win a game on whatever it is, whatever day that is.
What was it like to play with 11 forwards for so much of that game?
Thought it was fine. I thought guys dug in. Yeah, they're a tough team. They make it tough. It's it was tough with 11. Yeah.
There wasn't a lot, obviously, on their net through 40 minutes there. It seemed like it was a pretty muddy track. What's the right way to fight through that and still generate?
Well, we got to be better. We can be better for sure. I thought they went up a level and we didn't match it today.
When you had that semi-breakaway with the chunk sort of stick all over you, what were you feeling at that moment?
Well, I'm just playing hockey, trying to get to the net. Just what am I feeling?
No, like is he?
Oh, what am I feeling physically? Oh.
Stopping you, or what's going on?
No, it's I'm trying to protect the puck. He's trying to play the puck. Yeah.
Your power play right now has gone a little bit dry here, Colin. What's the common theme, do you think?
We got to work our way out of it. It always starts with work with our group. They're a unique penalty kill, just like they're a unique team. They're aggressive. We got to have guys ready for the puck. We got to have guys making good plays. You got to string good plays together, and we haven't been able to do that.
The late penalty was a part of the game, or was that a point of frustration?
Which one?
The one they all took late.
I didn't think so. I thought it was part of the game. Yeah.
You guys have talked about your ability to get out with adversity.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of the year, different playoff series. What do you think about the task at hand right now?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's another opportunity for our group to come together and dig our way out. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. And I'm excited to see what our group's made of. I'm excited to see our group come together. I'm excited to see us fight through adversity, and looking forward to people doubting us again. We're good with the backs against the wall.
Seeing Darnell trying to gut it out, I know it was probably killing him not to be able to play. Does it help him having on the bench and knowing that he's trying to get out there and play?
Yeah, he's trying his best. I'm not. Yeah, he was trying. Great.
Bottom line, Connor, if he only scored 1 goal in 2 games, you're probably not.
Not going to win very many games, no.
Connor, all eyes are always going to be on you guys, even the tip of the spear offensively. Where are you at with your game? What are you seeing from yourself? What are you going to be working on here?
What am I going to be working on? Like our whole group, I think we got levels to go up. Just cleaner, better with the puck, a little bit more finish around the net. That being said, we got to get down there too. They're doing a good job all over the ice. They did tonight. They played well tonight.
There's Conor McDavid. He was the only forward for the Oilers to be a plus player tonight. 1 assist, 3 shots, 1 hit, 25-59 time on ice, 33.3% on the dot. Cass, I jotted down a bunch of his quotes here. Power play has to work its way out of it. They have a unique penalty kill. He's talked about the Panthers and their penalty kill. We can be better, Conor McDavid says. They went up a level and we didn't match it. How do you get out of this? You win a game, says McDavid. And then he also added at the end, looking forward to people counting us out again. I mean, if I'm on that team and I catch wind of some of what he said tonight, I would feel a little bit of a fire burning within to be ready for game number 3.
Oh, I definitely think so. One other quote that I want to pull, and it's what we already talked about from a power play standpoint, was he talked about people needing to be ready to make plays on the power play because of the pressure and be clean. And we talked about that. They weren't clean. You have to move 1, 2, 3 quickly, cleanly, tape to tape, not handcuff guys to open up an aggressive penalty kill. I mean, that's how you do it, and they didn't do it. So wanted to pull that too because he touched on it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's clearly not happy with how they played. He clearly feels that Florida raised their level of their game in game 2, and they did, and Edmonton didn't. So hey, it's on him and on everyone else to get back to it. And there's a lot of fans in Edmonton that are doubting right now, and he looks forward, I'm sure, to try to prove those people, as well as all the should we call them the Florida meat as well as the Edmonton meat?
Sure.
We'll just call them people. Just proving all the people wrong.
Whatever you want, Cass.
Yeah.
The unique quote about the penalty kill that the Panthers throw at them. What is different that you see from Florida through these first 2 games that McDavid would say it's unique and they need to figure out?
I don't know if I'd say overly unique. It's just ultra aggressive. It's just much more aggressive than the standard penalty kill in the NHL. And against the Oilers, I think that's teams get very tentative to play really aggressive, because if you don't play aggressive as a full unit, you get burned. Like if 3 guys go and not 4, if 2 guys go, you get burned. But if all 4 guys in tandem can execute the aggression, the high pressure, you can turn pucks over. And Florida's defensemen fairly mobile, all of them. Very good with their sticks, which helps as well because they help take away the seam plays along with that aggression. So I wouldn't say it's overly, it's not like they're not doing anything brand new, but it's unique in that they just play very, very aggressive. So they push pucks down the wall very aggressively. They attack defensemen more than most teams do, unless there's full clean possession. So you'll see that when there's full clean, you have a puck, you're moving with the puck on your forehand, they won't just rush out at you. The second that puck's on your backhand or you're not on your shooting side. So if you are a defenseman, so Evan Bouchard, and you're on the right wing point for Edmonton, so the right hand side, so on his offside, so he's got most of his backhand to the ice, they're going, like they're pressuring, they're pushing. And that, again, a lot of teams don't do that against Edmonton because they get afraid that 1 or 2 passes can burn you. But Florida basically is looking at it and going, well, if we do this and we force them to try to execute and they can't, we're going to turn pucks over. We're going to be able to clear it. They're not going to get opportunities. And so far, it has very much worked in Florida's favor to do so. Again, if Edmonton executes cleanly, and that's to what McDavid said, to what I've said, if Edmonton executes cleanly, it's 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass. Now your lanes are going to be there because you have time to move it. And all of a sudden you have a mass adjustment that has to happen on the Florida Panthers' behalf on the penalty kill. So I don't think it's, again, just to say it one more time, just for emphasis, it's not that it's unique in that they're created some weird penalty killing system that no one else is using. They're just playing ultra aggressive, which most teams in the NHL don't do, and they're executing it very well.
So it would really quickly, to sum up the penalty kill thing, it's safe to say that they identify quickly when they're putting the opposition and the other team's power play into uncomfortable spots.
Yeah.
They attack. They go full attack.
So anytime there's any kind of a bobbled puck, it's full pressure. So three and a half guy pressure, I'll call it. So you have, forward press, defenseman press, second defenseman, go most of the way to press to the corner, and then that weak side winger that will drop into the middle when it's at the point. Now, when it's on the half wall, you'll press down, defenseman will go up, and you'll see generally they won't go above the top of the circle, or the dot rather, but they'll go push up to the dot. Other defenseman will push into the corner, and then you have that third forward, or second forward rather, that drops down to the middle to protect the front of the net. So it's just, let's call it the swarm. It's the swarm, but on a penalty kill. That's what it is.
You used a swear word there.
Well, it is, but it is a swarm. It is
a swarm. Yeah.
4 guys on the penalty kill. But when, the thing about the swarm, Dallas Eakins, I know we all make fun of them, but the swarm works when you have extremely mobile defensemen and you have your forwards that execute what they're supposed to do defensively as well. And Florida's all on the same pages on that. So again, they just execute it well.
All right. Last one for you as the Oilers look to chip away at the Florida Panthers 2-game lead in the Stanley Cup Final. What do you anticipate the Oilers changing? What do you think from Chris Noblock's point of view he tries to do with his lineup? Give us a sense of what we should expect from Edmonton in game number 3 on Thursday night.
Well, I'd expect them to put more pucks to the net. I'd expect them to have a better effort. The lineup will be interesting. Kind of hinges on Darnell Nurse. We'll have to see with Leon Draisaitl. Again, I'm assuming it's just going to be a fine. You'll have to see with Warren Fogle. I'm assuming it's just going to be a fine. But you never know. We'll have to wait and see, because that could force a hand a little bit for Noblock from a lineup standpoint. But I think, you're going to see an Edmonton team that's better, and you're going to see the same level from the Florida Panthers. So the question will be, can Edmonton raise their game? Can they get pucks to the net? And once again, can they not just make those big mistakes that absolutely cost them?
We'll see if that happens Thursday night. Cass, great work as always, my friend. Get some rest. We'll talk to you in a couple of days.
Sounds good, buddy. You too.
All right, that is our game analyst bringing it. Matt Cassian, fantastic as always. 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. Trev, how's the nasty chat looking? I had to give someone the boot because I'm just not putting up with the garbage tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty tonight, Tommy.
Yeah.
I think I've kicked out at least 8 or 10 people. So YouTube jail.
Nice.
If you're rude, you're going to YouTube jail.
Okay, let's go 780-218-9999. If you're just joining us, hit that thumbs up. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Let's go to RBM. Says, all I'm going to say is Bennett is an absolute coward. Tried to single-handedly take Bouchard out of the playoffs. 100% targeted his knee continually. Waits for guys to battle for pucks in vulnerable spots, then comes out of nowhere to blow them up. I wonder if Kane is healthy. It becomes the difference in this series. And no, the Oilers didn't deserve this one tonight. RBM adds, and that Fogle knee. If you're all going to slam Fogle about it, then you got to slam Bennett too, because in my opinion, the knee from Bennett on Bouchard was worse. Dirty-ass, typical, same horse from Bennett, and he always seems to get away with it. That text coming in from RBM. Let's go to KL. KL texting in says, hey guys, the Panthers were the better team today. This was the first time I saw the Oilers losing their cool, which is not a good sign. Seems like Skinner was losing position in his net a lot today and thought he should have had that first goal. Lots of blame on Bouch for the second goal, but McLeod with a soft clearing attempt because he didn't want to get hit caused that play to stay alive in the zone. Yeah, that one was a compounding of errors, as Cass likes to say, but when you put it tape to tape onto the guy's stick who scores, that is where the blame will lay. And KL, I'm with you on Skinner being a little bit out of position. I thought the Panthers did a great job of going cross ice, and they had the lanes to go cross ice, and they had Skinner moving. So that's probably part of their game plan and something that they scouted out, and they have executed it pretty well and got him moving. And yeah, looked like a few times there he was down and out, Skinner was, and the Panthers just missed on some open opportunities, or the Oilers were able to get a stick on a puck and maybe block it somehow. But yeah, I saw what you saw as well. Let's go to this one. Says, I'm not one to say the, quote, refs are biased, unquote, or, quote, the fix is in, unquote, but it's really difficult not to reach for the tinfoil hat after this game. Obviously, the officiating wasn't the only reason the Oilers lost tonight. They had massive defensive blunders, looking at Bouchard, and they need to put the puck on net. But to say the officials played no role in the outcome tonight is ignorance or just stupidity. I've said it several times the last few seasons. The NHL has to make officials available for media availability. Postgame tonight is a perfect example of why. Not writing the oil off yet. It's a 7-game series. If they can win both at home, which I feel pretty good about, it becomes a best of 3. Still far from over. No name on that text. Appreciate it very much. And we've said it all along. The officiating has not been great across the board. And we had Mike Civic on, former NHL official. He was a linesman in the NHL for 3 decades. And he was on Hello Hockey with myself and Sean Bell, not this past week, but the week prior. And we asked him some of those questions. So if you want to get a sense of where the league's at, check out that episode of Hello Hockey from a week and a half ago. All right. We do have Chris Noblock available. I think we're going to get to him, and then we're going to get to more of your text. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat. Tonight. Let's go to Chris Noblock, head coach of the Oilers.
But in 2 games, you've scored 1 goal. Do your best players have to be better?
I think our best players have been pretty good. We're talking about a different story. I know we had 3 goal posts on the power play. Those go in. We're probably telling. Probably the story is how good our top players were. So, yeah, we'd like some more goals, but I'm not calling. I think our top guys have been really good.
We'll go right here on the left, Ryan.
Chris, sorry, right over here. What are you seeing with the man advantage here? The power play's gone a little dry. Is there a common theme so far?
This puck's not going in. I think we've had some good chances. They put pressure on, so you're not set up as much as you are against the LA Kings are. But when there's a breakdown, we've got some really good looks. like tonight, we could be talking about how good our power play is if those 3 that go off the goalposts go in.
We'll go back right, Derek.
Chris, over here. Can you just give us a status update on Darnell Nurse? And obviously he's trying to gut it out, but what's the situation with him, and what are you looking for him going forward?
He's getting looked at right now. He was on the bench, and yeah, I think he'll be good to play, but he's getting looked at, so I don't have an update.
4th row right, Mark.
Chris, the Panthers dictated the way this game was played for the vast majority. You guys have been pretty good at taking that back in previous series. Couldn't take it back tonight. Why do you think that was?
I think a little bit, playing shorthanded. We missed Fogle with his speed, having the 4 lines, and, the amount of penalties took away the flow of the game a little bit, but I think we weren't as efficient breaking the puck out as we were in the first game.
Front right, Kevin.
Chris, they say you're not in trouble till you lose at home in a best of 7, but still you're down 2-0. What is your level of concern going back to Edmonton for 3 and 4?
I think we feel that we came here, we played well enough that we should have had a split. That doesn't always happen. We just have to take it one game at a time, but I don't see any reason to panic or do anything drastic. If we win one of these, which I think we're capable of doing, we're really happy. So I don't want to get too caught up and we're down 2-0 and it's we're in a whole lot of trouble. We just have to win the next game.
On the left near the doorway, Pierre.
Chris, right here. Panthers have been pretty suffocating the last 4 periods. What are you seeing that they're doing that's making life more difficult on you?
They just check, they mark their man, and play the body. They're a tenacious group, and they make it tough to get any space out there.
Center right, Jim.
Chris, was Leon's penalty just one of frustration on Barkov at the end of the game there? Because you killed 34 straight penalties.
Yeah, no, I think went in there, went to hit, hands got up a little bit high. He's trying to knock him off the puck, and that led to the penalty.
We'll go second row on the right, Greg. Or sorry, on the left, sorry.
Thank you. Chris, are you concerned at all for any supplemental discipline for Warren?
All right, there's Chris Noblock speaking about his team's 4-1 loss at the hands of the Florida Panthers. Edmonton down 2-0 in this Stanley Cup Final. Game 3 goes Thursday night, 6 o'clock here in Edmonton at Rogers Place. Noblock says that he thinks Darnell Nurse will be good to play, but Nurse was being evaluated by the medical staff following Edmonton's loss tonight. We shall see. The Oil have 2 days between games. I'm sure tomorrow being a travel day, they'll probably not do anything. Maybe a media availability when they land, and then they'll rest the rest of the day, and then we'll see what they do Wednesday in terms of a practice, and then Thursday we'll see how they respond to what was a pretty sufficient and satisfying Florida victory if you're looking at it from a Panthers point of view, which some people in the nasty chat are, which I can see, and we're still keeping tabs on that. But Edmonton needs to be better, simply put. You heard a couple of guys talking about the Panthers raising their level of play. I think we can all appreciate and give them credit for that, certainly, and Edmonton did not at the same time. So 4-1, the final, and we'll see if the Oilers can start to dig their way out of this hole that they have created for themselves, and they get 2 shots at it at home starting Thursday night. Okay, time to take care of some business. Let's go to the big save of the game presented by Christopher Boyle, business owner, tax saver. Take care of your family with Christopher Boyle, an experienced advisor with over 17 years in the business. Safeguard yourself and your family with comprehensive coverage for tax-free benefits during hospitalization or a fractured or broken bone. You'll get benefits pay from day one of the incident, so you don't have to worry about the costs and loss of income due to hospitalization. Preserve your income and protect your paycheck by visiting www.christopherboyle.net. YouTube, Trev, give us the big save of the game presented by Christopher Boyle.
Awesome. Thank you, Tommy. So tonight's big save of the game is going to Stuart Skinner. This happened 13 minutes into the second period. It was a huge save on Matthew Tkachuk. He was right in the slot, and he looks for the pass. Brett Kulak, he went down. Totally, he's very patient with the puck. Kulak bit on that, and he went down. Matthew Tkachuk, he goes to go cross crease, and Stuart Skinner, he's there to make a great pad save. So that's the big save of the game. There's also the Sam Bennett play, but I think that one was more Sam Bennett. He just shot it right at Stuart Skinner. It was a good save. He obviously, that would have been a goal, but I think this one, it was more of a save. It was a huge save. So it was 1-1, and I'm giving it to Stuart Skinner on that play there, Tommy.
That's very nice of you. I liked Bobrovsky's save on McDavid on the breakaway where he was fending off Matthew Tkachuk. I thought that was clutch at a key moment. But that is the big save of the game, brought to you by Christopher Boyle. It was Skinner on Bennett, or that was the second one you pointed out?
Yeah, that was on the power play there, which was also another huge save. I just thought that one, Bennett kind of just shot it right into the logo.
Right. All right, let's go into the inbox, 780-218-9999. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev with you, live on location. Hudson's White Ave, an absolutely gorgeous night. Unfortunately, the result in the game tonight spoiled that for Oil Country as Edmonton gets down 4-1 by the Panthers. All right, let's go to the Liquid Beaver. Says, hey, Tommy, series is far from over. The Oil need to be more physical and bring their wheels. Evander Kane has got to come out of the lineup. Losing Fogle early hurt them tonight as well. Couldn't run 4 lines. Yeah, especially not having Darnell Nurse for chunks of the game. They were down to, 11 forwards and 5D for a large majority of this game, and that did not help one bit. Let's go to Ryan from Sass. Says, hi, fellas. That was pretty ugly. Generated absolutely nothing 5-on-5. Line combos not working. Leon and those blind passes on the power play. Yikes. Those are for November. This team does like to make life difficult for itself, and it responds. So here's to hoping that trend continues. Ryan out of Sask. Let's go to Colorado. Rusty says, Tommy, they were fighting an uphill battle, and the Panthers and the ref until Bouchard got very lazy on that goal. Brutal third period for the young old man. Needs to wake the F up in a hurry. If Nurse can't go, they are in one. Need to rattle off 3 in a row, one at a time. That one from Colorado Rusty. Let's go to Hockey Girl. Hockey Girl texting and says, are the refs in Florida working on commission? Matthew Tkachuk should have gone into acting because he gave several Oscar-worthy performances tonight with a sad emoji. The refs are just bad all around, both ways. Hockey Girl. The NHL officiating. Mike Civic backed it up. He told us he hasn't liked it. And don't expect any miracles from the officials. Bad both ways. Mary, let's see what Mary has to say. Mary says, disappointed in the Oilers missing an opportunity to take over the game. Officials didn't win or lose games, but they sure as hell can shift the momentum. It can still be Oilers in 6 from Twitter, Mary. Let's go to Fat Dan. Fat Dan says, only stat I'm curious about is time spent laying on the ice in life-threatening pain and deathly injury versus shifts actually missed. Florida, LOL, Oil in 6 from Fat Dan. Let's go to Big Uke. Big Uke says, am I happy? No. Am I thinking this is over? No. Not in trouble till you lose at home. That's the only thought I have. Need to be better. Can be better. This isn't over. Let's go, boys. From Big Uke. Thank you, Big Uke. Good to hear from you. Let's go to this one. I believe it's Jimmy O. Jimmy O says Panthers can play physical when the refs turn a blind eye. We're hearing a lot of ref stuff tonight. Craig Simpson, not liking the call from Craig Simpson, Jimmy O says. And everybody's getting mad at everything, it seems like, tonight. Thanks for the text, Jimmy O. Let's go to this one. It says, wow, the Florida stat sheet rep must have felt sorry for the Oilers, counted a couple of the posts as shots on the net. So you're telling me that the plan against a 2-time Vezina winner is to cut your shots on net in half, reduce traffic in front, keep the puck to the outside. Great plan. I'm sure Coach never drew any of that up on the whiteboard. No, it's totally sarcastic if you didn't catch it there. This one says, laughing at the people who think it can happen. Keep selling hope. That's from Justin, who is a salty customer tonight. Lance says, lots of hockey left. Jeff says, while everyone was celebrating the Oilers Great play in game one. The Panthers realized how poorly they played in game one and went to work. There is a reason the Panthers have got to the final in back-to-back years. They keep coming at you. And the Oilers tried to hope their way to a win while reverting to poor defensive puck management. You can't hope your way to win the Stanley Cup Final. You have to outwork and outsmart your opponents. Tonight, McLeod and the Oilers did neither. Does Draisaitl get suspended for the hit on Barkov, says Barry. We don't think so, Barry. Taco texting in says, Tommy, I was confident that the Oilers would win this series, but now I'm confident that it isn't going to happen. The Oil had very little energy, and the effort was not what you would expect from a team trying to win the Stanley Cup. I mean, they only have one goal after 2 games. Any chance the league will review Bouchard getting choked out? You know it was bad when you started to see Bouchard start flailing. Taco, no. They're not going to review Evan Bouchard getting choked out. That was, I'll just say it was soft. Bouchard. What you do is you turn around and you punch a guy. Bouchard doesn't do that. So, no, they won't. If anything gets reviewed, it's the stuff Edmonton did tonight. So, no. All right, let's go to YouTube, Trev. Anything in the nasty chat worth mentioning, Trev?
No, not really. No, I mean, it's honestly, it's hard to keep up with it, Tommy. It's still coming pretty quick. But, yeah, a lot of people, it seems like, because I didn't do the post-game show the other night, but so I didn't know if there's any Florida Panthers fans that are watching, but I've got my answer right now because there's definitely quite a bit in there right now. So that's all I got, Tommy.
Chief Andy saying it was more funny than soft getting choked out. Yeah, I mean, the tapping thing. Just if you get mad, punch someone in the face. It's still, you might get a penalty. They might punch you back, but to just go, don't do, stop it, please. Don't.
It's like I'm tapping, it's over.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works. They want to beat you on the scoreboard, and they want to beat you up. Yeah. See you, Paul. And
not a good look.
Punch him. Yeah. Punch him. He's hurting you. Hurt him back so he doesn't do it next time, or he thinks twice next time. So, no, Taco, they're not going to review it. And Chief Andy, I think Chief Andy kind of gets it. You gotta, please, referee, stop him. He's choking me. No, punch him. Do something. Be a menace. Get mad. Make him not do it next time. It's simple. I know that the game's different now. I know it's more... It's soft, okay? But if you don't want to get choked out, punch the guy. Do something. Throw an elbow. Who cares? Anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's get to the player of the game. No, Taco. They're not going to review that. Damon Bunting, Remax Elite Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Trev, who is the Damon Bunting Remax Elite Player of the Game?
Going to keep it short tonight, Tommy. The Player of the Game is not an Oiler. He is a Florida Panther. He scored in game 1. He got 2 goals tonight. Evan Rodriguez. He's a solid player, man. He really is. 2 years ago, he was lighting it up. Well, I wouldn't say lighting it up, but he was playing with Sid the Kid. And then last year, he was playing with Nathan McKinnon. This year, he's playing with Matthew Tkachuk or Sasha Barkov. So he's a really good complementary player. He's a solid player, man. So, yeah, he's got a really good shot, and that was on full display with 2 goals tonight. So I'm giving it to Evan Rodriguez. And he wasn't being choked tonight. That's a different Evan.
Rodriguez played good, took advantage of the nice pass from other Evan who got choked out, and ends up becoming the Damon Bunting Remax Elite Player of the Game. Good call there, Trev. I thought the Panthers, obviously the much better team tonight, and they do get the Player of the Game on this night here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Live on location, Hudson's White Avenue. YouTube Trev holding things down back at ESTHQ. A few more texts to get to as we proceed through the evening. Nasty chat's it's getting stupid. I see what you mean, Trev, about the nasty chat tonight. Let's go to Golf Guy Steve. Says, hey, Tommy, If they can get the win on Thursday, they'll just be down 2-1, same as the Vancouver and Dallas series. Got to bring it on Thursday. That's true, golf guy Steve. Keep it simple, one win at a time. McDavid said it post-game. Tonight, Edmonton Rob says they have to hit way more in this series. Easy Tommy. What if he was being choked? Have you ever had a rear naked choke? It can make people freak out. Edmonton Rob, if he was getting freaked out from that, again, do something about it. Don't just go, don't stop, please, mister. Like that. I'm sorry. I've watched Aaron Ekblad take punches to the face. Who got him? Was it Max Domi or was that Lars Eller? And there was the other time where Max Domi, I think, got Ekblad. Guys have their arms at their sides and they're getting punched in the face, asking the ref or the linesman to jump in. And I know that the refs and the linesmen, especially the linesmen, jump in very quickly this day and age in the National Hockey League and in hockey in general. We're trying to protect people's heads. I get that. You're in the Stanley Cup Final. A guy is grabbing you and choking you from the back and it hurts. Get mad before you please, sir, don't do that. Guys, these are men. This is the Stanley Cup Final. I'm sorry. No sympathy for Evan Bouchard getting quote-unquote choked out. Do something about it. Stand up for yourself. Use your old man strength. Sorry if I'm being critical or barbaric, but that's how it is in the Cup Final. Playoff hockey. Grow a set. Atif says, Tommy, thanks for everything. I have not seen so many get together by referees in these playoffs. It's time to order a pizza. All right, thanks, Atif. Appreciate it, buddy. Let's go to Donnie Ams. Thanks for the critique on No Show Nugent, but the other Ryan got roasted. All right, thanks, Donnie M. Let's go to Not Fred says, Tom, my biggest frustration, other than the Oilers not playing their game, is they have absolutely no one who can or is willing to do something to add a spark. They have no one who wants to get dirty or get in the trenches. Desharnais got a 10-minute misconduct for what? Definitely not grabbing someone by the neck like Ekblad or try to act tough and throw a cheap hit like Kulikov or Bennett. No pushback. I actually thought Bouchard was trying to order a couple of beers for after the game. Tap, tap. I'll have 2, please. Thank you, Not Fred. Sask Bill says, Leon will be beast mode on Thursday night. Mark my words. Oilers will get a split at home, win Game 5 in Florida, sets up a chaotic Game 6 in Edmonton, and they will win. This is still going 7. Rip City Step sending in a screen grab of Tkachuk on McDavid on that partial break. And Tkachuk was trying to get in there and not get a penalty, did not get a penalty. And McDavid still got the shot off. This one says, watch if Barkov is injured, they'll suspend Draisaitl a game. Thoughts? Well, he did pop his elbow into Barkov's chin. I thought it was a smart move by Draisaitl. That's how you try to create a little room for yourself. Barkov went down like he got shot. I'm sure it didn't feel good. I don't think there's going to be any discipline. Maybe a fine, like Cass was saying earlier. Rye Guy also adds, what do you guys think of Bouchard's temperament? I'm all for being composed, but he looks way too nonchalant out there. It's the Stanley Cup Finals, man. Get gritty for once. Rye Guy, I think I basically summed that up when we were talking about the chokehold that some people feel was over the top and unacceptable. Go tell the principal. Either you get punched in the face and chokeholded, or you punch him back and tell him not to do that again. Bouchard's a big boy. He's a big boy. He should be able to create his own space and protect himself in a situation like that. It's not like Aaron Ekblad is tough. Guys, come on. Let's go to this one. It says, could you imagine if Bennett would have got a 5 in a game for his knee on Bouch? And then Tom, he would have got a penalty for turning around and punching him. So what? The game was over. That's where you do it. This one says, ain't no one can beat the Oilers like the Oilers can beat the Oilers. Looks to me they are going out of the 23-24 season as they entered. Absolutely embarrassing performance in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. All right, let's go to Nazdrovia, who says, I counted out against Vancouver and Dallas. I'm not doing the same here. There's magic left. Oil in 7. Bouchard soft pardon. Saw two Panthers lying on the ice crying and pitifully staring into the referee's eyes, which ended in penalties. Acting and crying is buttery soft. I'm sorry, Nezdrovia. That is not... I will tell you what. If you think that is a horrible take on Bouchard when he's getting choked and he's tapping, like, you need to give your head a shake. If you cannot stand up for yourself, my goodness, dude. My goodness. I don't know what else to tell you outside of your take is horrible. If you think that him going like this, please stop choking me, sir. Grow up. Grow up. Trev, anything else?
No, I'm liking this, Tommy. This is good. I couldn't agree more with you, though. Like,
it's
hockey.
It's ridiculous
We're in the
to
playoffs.
all those people that are like, don't be mean to Evan Bouchard. Why are you choking him?
Grown man.
Grow the up.
Yes.
This is the Stanley Cup Final. These are men playing against men for the ultimate prize. And if a guy is choking you late in the game and you're losing, punch him in the face. Simple. This is it. This is why you're playing, to win that damn trophy. Oh, don't choke me. Grow up, guys. It's so stupid to hear people go, maybe Ekblad should be disciplined for that. That was absolutely extremely rude. How dare he? Grow up. Grow a sack. You're in the final. You're in the final. I have no problem with what Leon Draisaitl did to Sasha Bark. Was it over the line? At first, I didn't think so. But guess what? Draisaitl cleverly gets his elbow in there, gives him a shot in the chops. Yes, that hurts. Yes, that's dirty. He'll probably get fined for it. I'd rather see that and him initiate contact and get a little bit pissed off, try to hurt the opposition because you're trying to win that damn silver trophy that this city hasn't seen in 34 years, okay? And you're going, oh, no, why is he being choked? That is so not fair. Grow up. Guys, Jesus.
Wow.
Thunder and Jesus. My
that was
goodness.
awesome.
Like, it's embarrassing to see people get so put out by a big man who doesn't have a mean bone in his body get choked from behind.
I'm pumped.
I want to swear so bad at how soft that is.
I'm motivated right now, Tommy. That's
so
I need to
dumb.
clip that and wake up
It's
to that in the
dumb.
morning. That's awesome. I couldn't agree with you more. Take a page out of Happy Gilmore's book. You know, that wasn't very nice. So yeah, no. Just final thoughts for me, man. The Oilers, they have to be better.
Yeah.
And just, play like they did in game one. Here's hoping they can, and more shots on net. Like, the fancy plays, it's not doing it for me. Going into the third period, only 2 forwards had a shot on goal. Like, that's simply not good enough.
No.
So yeah, they gotta change things up here. Enough with the fancy stuff. Like, it's predictable at this point, and the Panthers are really good at they know what you're doing. So you got to be unpredictable. Just get the puck on the net. And yeah, as far as Ryan McLeod goes, I wasn't a fan of his play. It'll be interesting to see.
He did not have a good game.
So it'll be interesting to see how the lineups change going into game 3. But one thing's for sure, I can't wait to hear the Oilers crowd. It's going to be awesome. I don't know if that's going to play a part. Like, you heard the Florida Panthers fans, and it was pretty. At times they kind of got into it, but I'm really excited to hear what the Oilers fans bring. So, with that being said, that's all I got, Tommy.
I like it, Trev. Lick your wounds. It's a bad night in oil country. They did not play well. Florida did elevate its game. You get a chance to play on Thursday. You're in front of a rabid fan base that wants to see the Stanley Cup. Go get it. Go get it. One game at a time. Your captain, the best player in the world, said it. Yes, tonight sucks if you're an Oilers fan. Yes, you don't like the way they've played in these first 2 games. Yes, they only have 1 goal. Yes, the power play is discombobulated. You get a chance to play on Thursday. You still need to lose 2, and you can win 4. They just rattled off 3 straight against the Dallas Stars. They were up against it against the Vancouver Canucks. They've faced adversity. This is a little bit different. This is a different beast than the Florida Panthers. You got a chance to play. Yes, guys are going down due to injury. Next man up. Let's see some of these guys who are going to come into the lineup, if they do, play better. And hopefully this team, by Thursday night, for Oil Country, we're talking about a 2-1 series. I expect it, like Trev said, to be absolutely buzzing in Rogers Place on Thursday night, and we'll see if the team can match the energy of the fan base and get a win to get this series to 2-1. With that being said, I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this show tonight. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed mocking people saying, that was mean what you did to Evan Bouchard. Grow up, you guys. Come on. Toughen up. It's the Stanley Cup Final. Let's go. For Matt Cassian and YouTube Trev, I'm Tom Gazzola. Say thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Even the trolls, you guys keep giving us clicks and views. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.